everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing the new moon in Scorpio reading. This is a general reading for everyone. So I've never done this before. I'm not sure like how specific the information is going to come in, or if it's just going to be a general message. So I'm excited to see what happens too. So 3 more shuffles for the new moon in Scorpio. Okay, so I'm getting, there's an energy of like gossiping or spying, being watched. Somebody could be reflecting on a connection with someone from their past, watching someone from their past. Conflict, you could be having a lot of conflict with people from your past who are watching you. It may be hidden that they've been watching you for a long time. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like jealousy or gossip or conflict surrounding you about somebody or a situation. It could just be like everyone is dealing with right now, like people on the outside talking about them, the direction their life is going in. There could be conflict going on around you that you may necessarily not even know about. Like if people are gossiping behind your back and stuff like that, you may not be aware that that's happening, but you could be feeling the energy of like anxiety, not really knowing or understanding what's going on around you, but this could just be like surrounding you, like you might not be right in it, but it is like an energy around you. And I'm feeling like it's coming from like people being jealous or just not standing in their own power, so they're trying to minimize the people who are starting to stand up in their power and be who they are supposed to be. You know, I feel like there's 2 groups of people. There's the groups of people who are stepping into their power and realizing, you know, that it's within them. Everything is within them, and they're not really looking outside and focusing on anything else besides what's in front of them in their life. You could be losing your attachment to, like, you might have been a person like me. I used to have a lot of anxiety about like what other people thought. And it's so crazy because it would really be like it would really like consume me sometimes, other people's judgments, because I always felt so misunderstood. But now I just don't care anymore, like, which is so not like me to just, but it's because I'm standing in my power and I'm finding my purpose and I'm doing my purpose every day. So now it's just like, that is my focus and goal. That's what I'm like focusing on. So it's like drowns out all the other stuff, because it just feels so good to be like moving in a direction that feels good to my soul. So there's, I think, the people who are judging the people who are stepping into their power, and then there's the people who are just moving forward in their power. And I feel like the people who are being judgmental or gossiping or all of that, it's not even for the reasons of like they're doing it because they wanna be doing the same thing, and maybe they're struggling to find out what their purpose is. So they're just focusing like outside of themselves. It's kind of like when somebody's gossiping about somebody else's relationship, but they're really not in it. They have no idea what's going on within it, but they're just like hypothetically saying all this stuff. And it really, most of the time when that's happening, the person who's doing the gossiping and talking necessarily isn't happy in their own relationship. So instead of focusing on what's going on with them in their own relationship, they're seeing it outside of themselves and everybody else. When really, if they just turned inward and were like, why is this bothering me so much? Why do I care so much? Why am I talking about this person and their relationship so much? It's because there's something about you that's dissatisfied with what's going on in your life. And instead of confronting that head on, you're projecting it outward. So there could be a lot of that happening for everyone right now. This is a general reading, so I'm just going to have faith in that that's a general issue that people are having. Now, this could be in your personal relationships. This could be at your job. This could be within your family. This could be, you know, your children judging you as parents. This could go, you know, so many ways, you projecting onto your children. I feel like there's going to be a lot of this energy right now, which makes sense because it, you know, Scorpio can represent like the darker, the shadow side of light, death, all of those things. So it's, and standing in your power, you know, what comes after a tower moment or death, you know, power, rebirth, something new. You could be having parts of yourself that you've been dragging along for so long, dying so that you can be brand new and step into your own power. But I feel like this, for some people, this is going to be causing a lot of pain. The pain, I'm going to say, is driven by whatever's going on mentally for you. You're just going to be so in your head about something, an issue, a situation, person. It could feel like you're carrying a burden, or you don't see a way out, or you're trapped. There's a lot of mental energy here. You could be like, you could feel so overwhelmed by the darkness that like there's just a little spark of hope, a little spark of light. But just so you know, like that's good, because it may feel really dark and heavy, but at the other side of that, you have to go through those dark nights of the soul, or that's when your soul is growing. Sometimes some people learn the really hard way. Like I'm one of those people, like, yeah, like I learned things the hard way, but that's because I make the choice, you know, like I've chose to learn that way. But through all of the things that I've learned in all the darkest moments of my life and all the things that seemed hardest, where I felt like, how am I going to get through this? This feels so overwhelming. This feels so heavy. Like I just can't see the light. Like how could this possibly turn out? And there wasn't any kind of idea or anything that I could have thought up that actually was how the outcome was. And now I've been through it so many times that I know in those dark moments that I have the biggest gift on the other side of that. And if you just surrender the outcome, surrender what you think might happen, the what ifs, all of that, because the gift that you get is nothing that you could ever think of. When I think back of all the hardest times in my life, I'm so thankful for everything that they've given me, shown me, and taught me. I've grown so much as a person. My soul has grown so much as a person. And part of that growth for me is just, you know, focusing on myself and not so much on what other people think or their opinions. And let me tell you that you're going to have those people in your life who just are so opinionated and so judgmental, and their voice is so loud that maybe this is a place where you have to put up those barriers around yourself to protect yourself, put up those boundaries. You know, like I've struggled a lot with boundaries in my life, and I feel like right now it's all popping up again. Like, did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson about boundaries? Like, are you going to continue to let negative people and negative energy and negative influence and comments and judgments into your life? Or it's like almost a test to see, like, are you firm in this person that you're becoming? Like, are you sure? Are you sure you've moved beyond that? Are you sure that part of you is dead? Are you sure that part of you has grown? So you could be feeling a lot of tests right now. Like you could have a lot of temptation. You could have a lot of people from your past coming back, tempting you, you know. It may, what is this I'm trying to say? And it's like a lot of fantasy, like, they're like presenting in a way that like seems like, oh, this seems so good, or maybe they've grown, or maybe they've changed, or maybe things are different, but it's all an illusion, okay? The point of this coming up and the point of this happening is to say it's about you. It's not about the other person. It's about what this person represents for you in your life, and have you grown past that? Or are you still really stuck in that same cycle? So if it's coming up again, it's not because you're supposed to go back there. It's not because there's something there for you. It's not because, oh, it's because, hey, look, this is coming up again because have you grown past this? And I'm going to encourage you to move past whatever comes up from your past. The past is the past. For example, if a relationship was abusive or toxic or mentally, emotionally abusive, like obviously you should never go back to those things, you know? And if you are holding on to something with those relationships or situations from the past, it could be showing its face again just so that you can sit in the knowingness and the positivity of knowing like whatever's there does not serve you. And maybe it's just for you to see like, wow, I really have come a long way. Wow, I really have grown so much. Like, this is amazing. I am so different. Or maybe it's to show you or remind you like you don't see the day-to-day, moment-to-moment growth that you have as an individual. But when someone from your past comes back and reminds you of like what life was like at a time, it can really give you a real good picture of how much you really have grown. Because sometimes you can see that they're really at the same place, and wow, you've like gone so far beyond that, and it just feels so good to see it, and also to know like, yes, that didn't serve me, that wasn't for me, I made the right decision by walking away. It's not for you to go back to that. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here, if it comes back, is just for you to either acknowledge your growth or to see as a test, are you really done with this? Okay? I really went off on a whole... Okay. So yes, I think there's going to be a lot of temptation. I would urge people to try to have this inward process. I'm getting like, you may be a person who wants to drink or goes out, like, you know, out like socially around a lot of people, things like that, because for you, that's like an escape. And I'm really getting the strong sense that if this is normally something you would do, to not do that, to not drink during the dark phase of the moon, to not distract yourself from what's going on inside of you. This is a really good time to release all of those things, sit with them, acknowledge them, and then release them. But not to further the darkness, okay? So if you're already feeling like it's really heavy and dark and this and that, and you want to escape from it, or you have a tendency, sorry, I just kicked the camera. If you have a tendency to escape from yourself or your reality or your life or the decisions that you've made, you have a hard time sitting with them, please do that. It's not that serious. It's only serious if you subscribe to it being serious. You can unsubscribe to the heaviness of something you feel stuck in and just tell yourself like, it's okay. I don't have to live in this mental cycle I'm putting myself through. I can just observe it from the outside, like be an observer. This is what's coming up in me. It's from my past, or this person's from my past, or this situation, whatever. You'll know what it is for you. Just observe it from the outside, like you're watching a TV screen, or you're watching a movie, or you're watching someone else. Observe yourself from the outside and then release it. But if you drink or use drugs or go out and distract yourself, you're missing your opportunity to release this thing into the darkness and move in towards the light. You know, you're just, if if you do these things, I'm sure you know, if you drink or whatever, if you ever drank when you're just not in a good emotional or mental space, it can sometimes bring you down deeper and darker. And I would just not advise that you do that. I mean, the Scorpio energy is a very strong, intense, heavy energy on its own. Adding to the intensity, adding to the drama, adding to the darkness is not something that I would suggest you do. I mean, just stay in, have your internal, process, purge all of the energy that's not serving you out. Release any attachments that you have to people's opinions or judgments. And I'm getting here that you may be worried that like you're never gonna reach that wish fulfillment, or this may be feeling like something you just like you're not sure, how do I let this go, or I'm never gonna be happy, and if you are having these thoughts, if this is you, if you're the kind of person who's just sitting there right now and you're looking into other people's lives and you're just feeling down about it, or like, when's it going to be my turn? You can just choose not to do that to yourself. It may seem like such a hard concept to grasp, but it really is just surrendering your attachment to that idea and looking around you in your current moment. And it could be as simple as like starting to just be thankful for the simple things you have, like a glass of water, a bed to sleep in, heat when it's cold, windows to open when it's nice, a roof over your head, family who loves you and supports you. If your family doesn't love you and support you, that could be a trigger for a lot of people. That you have the ability to remove yourself from family and friends who aren't supportive. That's a thing to be grateful for too. The option to be able to click on a YouTube video and watch something and know that you're not alone. Just start looking around you, pants to wear, a shower, food to eat. Simple things, that you can taste food, that you have eyes that can see. What do you see when you look with your eyes? Do you see all the bad things around you? Or if you do, then you need to start focusing on the good things around you. If your eyes see all the good things already, think of all the great things that you can't see or you haven't seen yet, and how good that feels to know that there's going to be moments in your future that you can't even imagine the greatness you're going to feel, or the wish that's coming to you that's going to be fulfilled. You think you have an idea of how that's going to feel, and just start to visualize the greatness you have for yourself when you're standing in your power and you're filling yourself up with the light, and that you are powerful and that you do deserve good and great things, and that I'm not better than you and they're not better than you and nobody's better than you. The only difference between somebody who you're looking on the outside into and judging and maybe criticizing, the only difference is that they're standing in their power. Maybe that triggers you because you don't know how. And the first thing you need to do is just acknowledge that that's what that is, and then remind yourself how powerful you are. Look around you at the world you've created. Are you creating from your fears? Are you creating from your dreams? If you're surrounded in a situation that you've created for yourself, good or bad, we're the creators of our world around us. You can say to yourself, okay, how can I create something different? And just acknowledging that you need to take accountability for it, even the bad. And I know that's hard. I've had to do it for myself. I've had to take accountability for all of the stuff I've created around me, negative. How have I somehow contributed to this? And things that I've realized is that I was creating a lot out of fear. My fear was so strong that no matter what I was doing physically and doing to not have that, my fear was still so much more present and powerful than, the actions that I was taking. So you really have to mentally ask yourself, like, where are you at? Are you in a place of creating from fear? Because I was there for so long. I was so worried about all the fears and everything that I was creating that for myself. And that's a hard pill to swallow, to be like, wow, all this bad stuff in my life, I made that. But if you can just realize how much power that gives you, even if you were creating from the fear, the scared part of yourself, you're still powerful AF. And if you just focus all of your energy into feeling good and what feels good and focusing on what you're trying to create and being that person, walking the walk, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, being that in your everyday life, and starting to have faith and leaning in on your faith and leaning in on the goodness that surrounds you that you can't see, and knowing that you have a purpose and just moving forward in the goodness of it instead of coming from a place of fear. If you're anxious all the time and you're stressed out, clearly you're creating from a place of fear. That's a good indicator of fear. If you feel good and relaxed and you're living in the moment and on purpose, you're going to feel good, and to lean into more of those things and start creating from that place so that you can realize you're just as powerful as I am or as anybody else in the world. Think of the most powerful person that you look into and they're like, wow, they're really powerful. They're doing amazing things. I wish I could be like you. You can be like that. You can do that. The difference between you and them is they're standing in their power. They've realized their power and they've switched from what they were creating to focusing on creating something different. You know, and sometimes your life needs to be messy and it needs to go to shit and you need to lose everything and you feel like you're starting over and you're at rock bottom. And from that place, and Scorpio can bring that energy, because from that place is where you really start to build the foundation of like, it can't get any worse than this. I can only go up from here. And you really just start focusing and working on building from nothing. But sometimes it takes that, losing the greatest thing to you, the person you love the most, the thing you love the most, a situation you've feared your whole life happening, manifesting that, and wondering, why am I creating this? This is something I wouldn't wish on my, what are you created by focusing on it? I feel like I'm beating a dead horse right now, and it could feel like that in your life. Like you just keep going through this cycle of the same lesson. Like, when am I going to get it? When am I going to learn it? When's it going to happen? And we could all just be at that point, like, God, I've been through this so many times. Like, when am I going to learn the lesson? You know, when am I going to get it? When's it my turn? And my friends, I'm here to tell you, it's your turn right now. Right now, you have the power. You have the power to create the most beautiful, amazing life you've ever dreamed of. Starting right now in this moment, start focusing on making your dreams come true. Start focusing on your wish. Start wishing upon a star. Start wishing upon a new moon. Set your intentions. Just focus your energy for 2 weeks, and I want you to look back when it's full moon and look back and see like what has changed, what have you created. And even if it's just letting go of all the bullshit, that's amazing and that's beautiful and that's a beautiful start. I hope that this message resonated with you guys. Do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, drop me a little emoji comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.